Hello everyone. My name is Sasson Qureshi, and on behalf of my partners on Team 3, Leah Barnett, Amanda Houston, Fiona Lightfoot, Ella Ozdemir, and Sean Dowell, I just want to welcome you to our presentation on hypothesis testing. We're going to walk through a real-world business example and use two angles of Excel and an AI chatbot to replicate and expand on this analysis. So beginning with our Excel, we see in this, we're given the goal to evaluate whether it's profitable to expand deliveries based on shelf sellout rates in a scenario of 63 stores with 42 having empty shelves at the end of the day, and the company only expanding if more than 63% of stores sell out. So from there we ran a one proportion z-test in Excel, and for each part we were able to dissect. We started with our n, given number of samples, our p hat observed sellout proportion, p naught being a threshold given from our hypothesis test. From there we were able to get our level of significance. We use a standard of 0.05, a 5% chance of making a wrong decision. Next, we calculated both our standard error and our z-statistic, and decided to use an upper tail statistic as as it satisfied the alternative hypothesis condition and gained the p-value. So finally, we were able to make a decision of whether to reject or fail to reject the null hypothesis, and from the p-value of 0.2733 being larger than our alpha of 0.05, we settled on failing to reject the null hypothesis. So we see that Excel gives you this formula-driven approach, and it makes it a trusted tool for our statistical business analysis. Shifting over to our AI chatbot, we made an AI chatbot through Microsoft Copilot Studio, named it Supermarket Delivery Expansion, and designed it specifically to function as a probability test agent. So we gave it a background, gave it a description, the chatbot's purpose, some instructions on how it should guide the user step by step through hypotheses and testing and different types of error understanding. Give it a tone so it has general consistency in responses to the user. Capabilities, so it's able to grab information from the internet, expand its data source, create documents, help the user in other ways, and suggested prompts to help on the user end just to get started, know what kind of questions you want to ask. And this setup illustrates how AI can be purposely configured to serve a specific analytical role and not just be like some general assistant. Going forward to a chatbot response, we fed our prompt into our created AI chatbot, and we we fed our scenario in and walked through the 5 structured prompts, and for step 1 it created its hypothesis, correctly identifying the null and alternative hypotheses. Second, it checked the conditions and verified that it was sample size was large enough for normal approximation. It went through the test statistics and identified p-hat values, our n's, calculated standard error, and z-statistics, and those all matched our Excel result exactly. Same thing with the p-value, matched the Excel result exactly. And it came to a decision at the very end. Right here, a statistical decision, the same as our Excel file, of failing to reject our null hypothesis. And it even can translate it into plain language to help the user better understand some of the logic behind the numbers. We see here that both Excel and AI can arrive at the same numerical conclusion with those same z-statistics and p-values and decisions, so AI is not necessarily replacing Excel, but just adding some accessibility. But here is where we see AI be able to do things that Excel is not necessarily equipped with. And that's where you can see the identification of type 1 and type 2 errors. Our AI chatbot was able to correctly identify the type 1 errors in this the type 1 errors and type 2 errors in this business context. Type 1 error being the false positive, where we would reject the null hypothesis and expand the delivery when in reality we shouldn't. And in type 2, the false negative, we failed to reject the null hypothesis and don't expand when in reality we should be expanding. It also gives the business consequences for each type of error. So AI can clearly articulate both the risks in business terms. It also gives business recommendations moving forward to help you not only avoid risks, but to help make business a little bit better, like how to gather the data a little stronger, things of that nature. So through this, we can see that AI is not here to replace tools like Excel, but to augment them, right? The Excel gives you the precision, the transparency, the reproducibility, very stable. AI offers the interpretation and the context behind that, behind the numbers. AI, and in business, where the real power is running isn't just running the numbers, it's understanding what those numbers mean and knowing what to do next. And we see that's where AI brings its value through case one of our hypothesis testing. So once again, on behalf of Group 3, thank you for listening to our hypothesis testing breakdown on case one.